What is going on, guys? It is ya boy, Mr. Tag, and I am here with you today to show off my Sacred Beast deck profile for July 2020 that I took to locals last week. This is, of course, this should be the fourth video in my local deck series, but it's only the third because I never got around to re-recording my Counter Fairy Trap deck, but that's okay. Anyway, without further ado, let me show off my Sacred Beast deck, and then maybe you two can see where the spice lies. Okay, so first, of course, we're playing Sacred Beast, so of course we're playing 2 copies of Haman of Strike Thunder. Again, he's probably the best Sacred Beast, even just like by himself, really. Able to inflict, 1,000 damage even when he destroys a monster, and then of course with CERULEAN SKYFIRE, he becomes even better. So that's Haman. And here's the only Sacred Beast we play in our main deck. So we've got 3 Dark Beckoning Beast. I mean, this should be obvious. It searches pretty much all the cards. You can pretty much search every card in the archetype. So of course you've got to play 3. Really, really good. And then of course we also got 3 of the Chaos Summoning Beast. Again, you want to pretty much see this guy in your hand. Hopefully you hard draw him. Otherwise you can search him with Dark Beckoning Beast. And of course, when you can send him to the graveyard and he can get Fallen Paradise, which is even better. Of course, he's at staple 3 of. Now, we only play 1 Dark Summoning Beast. This build is a going second build, but say if you lose the die roll, or you're forced to go first in game 2, you want to get this guy out and then summon like your Haman and then get some protection up. Because of course you can't attack, he stop you from attacking for the turn, but going first, that doesn't matter. But you only play 1, otherwise you don't really want to see it. Okay, now here's the spice. So we have 2 Elemental Hero Neos and a Rainbow Dark Dragon. So this is a Sacred Beast Neos build, and the focus is going second and getting the OTK. Because if you have a Haman and a Neo and a Rainbow Neos, and one of the monster, you can use the Rainbow Neos' effect to get all their monsters shuffled back into the deck, and then you attack for 8,500 and you win the game. And it goes off really well. Went off more online than it did in the actual tournaments, but that's okay. When we play 3 Kaijus, 3 Radiant specifically, so he has targets for Allure of Darkness. Even if I had 3 Gamma Seal, I think I would just play 3 Radiant anyway, because again, Allure of Darkness, if you say you draw 2 of them, or you don't need the Kaiju and you have a lure, you can just use them as a lure target. And again, this came up a lot of times, actually just going over my opponent's cards, or their strong monsters, and then giving them a Kaiju instead. Alright, then we have a Danger package. We play the 3 best Dangers, Nessie, Jackalope, and Snake. Again, they're lure targets and let you draw cards. If you get negated with your effects and stuff, your searches, you definitely want to see these so you can keep drawing cards. And again, that came up quite a bit. Alright, and of course, since this is going second, 1 Pankratops. And if you're doing a going second build for almost any deck, you should have this guy in here. Shame he's only at 1, and he's not a lure target, which kind of sucks, but otherwise, very, very strong card. And of course, 2 copies of Ash Blossom. Looking back, I probably could have ran this at 3, but it didn't. I mean, I saw it when I needed to, and if I didn't see it, it wasn't really necessary. Anyway. Let's keep going, and I forgot to mention the decks we faced at the locals. We lost to Trickstars after we got Reincarnated Drolled, that combo that went off on us, and we lost to Trap Tricks, but we beat Time Thieves and Fur Hires. So anyway, let's keep going. Of course, with our spell lineup, you have to have 3 Opening the Spirit Gates. It's another search card. It is amazing, and its second effect is so good, which really combos with all the Rainbow Neos. But make sure, don't forget, you got to do all your special summons before you summon Rainbow Neos. Otherwise, you're locked out of special summons because of Neos Fusion's effect. But what you would do is you do all your stuff, you would get your Haman on the field, then you probably have at least 1 target for this in the grave. You special summon it back, then you get Rainbow Neos out in the field, and then you've got that's your target for Rainbow Neos' effect. So again, very strong card, very, very strong. Like I mentioned, pretty much an entirely dark deck, so you gotta have 3 copies of Allure of Darkness to draw 2. If you can play it, you gotta play it. So that's enough said about Allure of Darkness. And of course, 3 copies of Neos Fusion. So while we're not playing a search card for this, obviously this deck can easily make a Predaplant Verde Anaconda. So you got this as your target anyway, and then Verde Anaconda becomes a target for Rainbow Neos' effect if you go that route. But again, this is just a really good card. It can get ashed if you're sending your targets from the deck. But, you know, if that happens, if they've waited on the ash for that long, then you're probably going to lose, but they probably wouldn't wait on the ash that long anyway. At least in the in the first game anyway. Like I said, 2 Pot of Desires. Always a risky move using Pot of Desires, especially when we're only running 1 Rainbow Dark Dragon. But this is pretty much your last resort to draw 2. In one game, I did end up actually banishing both Neos and Rainbow Dark Dragon, so Neos Fusion became a dead card. I think I lost that game. Alright, and then 1 copy of Cerulean Skyfire. Again, it's searchable. It didn't really come up actually, it's only come up in the Time Thief duel. It does what it does, you know, you can stop a spell or trap. And then you can summon an extra, usually you can summon, you go your Hamon with like your Chaos Summoning Beast, and then if you have Cerulean Skyfire, another Hamon in your hand, you usually got 3 spells on the field at that point. Then you can summon another one to help your ETK. But yeah, it's a good card, but in this build, it's not enough room for more than 1. 1 Fallen Paradise. You know, you can search it with Chaos Summoning Beast. You don't really need to run more than 1 in this build. If this was pure, I would run 2, because I think it is very important. What people forget with this is that, yeah, it's you got Hamon on the field or a Sacred Beast. Surely that's the first part of your combo. You don't end on that. You want to draw 2 and keep doing your combos. You want to get protection or something for your Sacred Beasts. Even though this protects them from card effects, and get more stuff down to stop your opponent from playing, that's better. So the draw 2 is actually very important, as is the protection. 1 Void Apocalypse. So this card is interesting. Sometimes you want to see it, sometimes you don't. You can discard a card to send a Fiend monster from deck to graveyard. So you can send something you don't need, and then you can like pitch a Chaos Summoning Beast or a Dark Summoning Beast from your deck, and then use their graveyard effects. Yeah, it's not bad. You don't want to run more than... You could probably run 2 in a pure build, but I wouldn't run more than 2. Can become a brick occasionally. And the discard is cost. So if they ash the targeted mill that you want to use, you can still get the discard off. So you can still discard a Chaos Summoning Beast if you need to get its other effect off. So don't forget that. 1 Foolish. You know, you send Dark Summoning Beast or Chaos Summoning Beast off with this. I think that's really self-explanatory. And of course, I'm talking about drawing cards all the time, so 1 Upstart Goblin just to round it out. Okay, traps. There's only 3 traps. Infinite Impermanence. Since we are in the main deck, we are only running 1 Sacred Beast. You don't run the Awakening of Sacred Beast trap in your main deck. It's actually in the side deck with a LEVIAIR, so you can always side into that if you're going first, or you're forced to go first in game 2 or 3. But of course, Impermanence is just a great card, especially in going second build. You stop them from using one of their card effects that can sometimes shut down an opponent's entire turn. So obviously it's a great card, it's a great staple. Alright, extra deck. First, the Fusions. Obviously, we've talked about him. Rainbow Neos, such a ridiculously strong card. All of those effects are really useful. You can either send a monster to wipe out all your opponent's monsters. You can send a spell or trap to shuffle all your opponent's spells and traps, or you can just send the top deck card from the top of your deck to your graveyard to shuffle all your opponent's graveyard cards back into the deck. Such an amazing card, and with Neos Fusion is so easy to get out, I love it. And we also have a Brave Neos target. This is either if you unfortunately had to mill your Rainbow Dark Dragon, or if you had to use it for a Little Darkness target, or if the game just went longer than 1 turn. So you have another target for a Neos Fusion, so it's not dead. Brave Neos isn't terrible, but again, it's only a last resort. You don't really want to have to use it. If I had 2 Rainbow Neos, I'd probably run that instead, although then you'd have to run another Rainbow Dark Dragon, so that's a thing. Exceeds, so we have LEVIAIR and Gustav Max. Gustav Max is very self-explanatory. If you need that last bit of 2k damage, you put your 2 Hamons together, and you're gonna get an extra 2k on the board. LEVIAIR is actually really good. So he's hard to summon though, because you do need both. You need your Jackalope and your Snake on the field, or an Ash Blossom if you need to summon it. But then, since your Chaos Summoning Beasts and your Dark Summoning Beasts, if they, well, you can't target Dark Summoning Beast, but you can target your Chaos Summoning Beast with its effect, and you can special summon it back to the field, which is actually very useful. Didn't come up, unfortunately, but I think it's a really interesting tech, and good stuff, you know, self-explanatory. Okay, so we've got our Linky boys. Almirage, Link Spider, and Link Karibo. So Almirage and Link Karibo can be used to get Chaos Summoning Beast or Dark Beckoning Beast into the graveyard, and then you can resummon them with opening of the Spirit Gates if you need to, or to trigger Chaos Summoning Beast effect when it targets from the graveyard when you banish it to get your Fallen Paradise. Link Spider is if your opponent has any sort of token shenanigans, you know, with like if you get up against like Lost, you get a Lost Wall token, you just pitch it and summon Link Spider, so you're not limited by their effects. By the effects of that stupid token. But yeah, Link Karibo and Almirage definitely are really good tech choices for this deck. Okay, Link 2. Cross Sheep. And I mean, you can always get the Exceeds effect, which isn't great. I was aiming for the Fusion effect, but then I realized Rainbow Neos locks you out of special summoning for the turn. So this is not my finest hour, not a good choice. Take it out for something else. The Exceeds effect, if it comes up, but this never came up. So I realized my mistake after I built my deck. But here's the big one. Here's the one we want. Predaplant, Verde, Anaconda. So, very versatile card, obviously. Obviously you have your Dark Beckoning Beast, your Chaos Summoning Beast on the field at any one time. Or even if you get some dangers on the field, it's really easy to get 2 monsters on the field with this deck. And then you can go into Predaplant, Verde, Anaconda. Make sure you do all your other special summoning first. And then you can obviously use its effect to send Neos Fusion from your graveyard, from your deck to your graveyard, I should say. And get Rainbow Neos on the field, and then OTK, because you can send your opponent's monsters. Such a really good card. So that's that one. Alright, Nightmare Package. Unicorn, Phoenix, Cerberus. Again, you guys know what these do. They're good in certain situations. I wasn't really summoning them a lot of the time. I think I summoned Phoenix once to get rid of some problematic back row. But, you know, it's nice to have the Nightmares, especially Phoenix and Unicorn in your deck. Just as some, like, you know, insurance policies, you know, to get rid of problem cards you may not have been ready for. Alright, then we got some rank 4s. We got a Boral Sword, Access Code, and Appaloosa. If you do draw a really good hand with all of your dangers in it, you can spam the board really easily, and then you can get one of these guys out if you need them. I think I only really summoned Appaloosa once, and that's when I got like all my dangers, and I had Ramon, and then I special summoned like a Chaos Summoning Beast with opening the Spirit Gates effect. But of course, yeah, these are really just good to have, especially Access Code and Appaloosa. Unfortunately, Appaloosa and Access Code are not cheap. Alright, now extra deck, we'll go through this really quickly. So like I mentioned before, you run a LEVIAIR and 2 Awakening of the Sacred Beasts. So basically, you'll be forced to, if you win game 1, you should win game 1. If you win game 1, you're probably going to end up going probably end up going first, game 2. Because your opponent will know that you want to OTK them. Depending on what you're facing though. So you should always side out and be ready for that. So you make sure you put your LEVIAIR in and the Awakening's in. Awakening is searchable with Dark Beckoning Beast if you need to, but you more than likely want to hard draw it, so that's why you run 2. But you don't run 3 because it can be bricky. But the second effect to just skill drain your opponent is ridiculous. Alright, and as always, I have drawn Lockbird. Funny that this got played against me, with that Trickstar player who draw reincarnated me. That was really annoying. Even though he didn't really need to do the draw. I mean, my opening hand was great. Then I got reincarnated. And I was like, oh, okay. Then I drew a really bad hand. Then I got reincarnated again. And then draw happened. And then I was done. Okay, back row removal. Cosmic Cyclones. Again, if you're running more danger, you can probably run Twin Twisters so you can get their effects off. But I like Cosmic. Because obviously some spells and traps like to be destroyed. I mean, Waking the Dragon isn't really that prevalent in this meta, but you always got to watch out for it, because if you get Ultimate Falcon, you're in for a lot of hurt. Although, Sacred Beast can get over it though, so Twin Twisters or Cosmic Cyclone. It's really up to you. And then I played a Solemn package, Strike, Judgment, Warning. As my other extra deck, my side deck cards. Because really, you don't really have many negates in this deck. Sure, you have your Ash Blossoms and Impermanence, but if you're going first and you can draw into at least one of these and stop more of your opponent's plays, it's just really, really useful. Okay, and that was it for my Sacred Beast deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I certainly did. I think next week we might be playing Harpies if all my cards come in. Otherwise, it might be Monarchs. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this all over your news feeds, all over your Facebooks and Twitters, and all that sort of good stuff. Otherwise, yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you next time. Bye!